hype about coffee has some in the industry concerned.
Well, certainly in the past kind of 5 years, just about anyone and everyone has been slapped with the label of being a barista.
In Australia, baristas don't face the same quality control as overseas. University students who make coffee part-time call themselves baristas. But in Italy, for example, becoming a barista requires a 4-year apprenticeship. As a result, customers are guaranteed good coffee and service. The Specialty Coffee Association has begun introducing a similar voluntary scheme here.
And we've put in place feedback systems so that if there is a barista out there who's accredited but isn't creating a good product, we can kind of get that feedback to them and help them to develop their standards. If you go into a cafe and order an espresso and it's really light colour on top, usually means that it's been a very quick extraction.
The association ultimately wants to professionalise the industry. Top baristas say ultimately cafes will be forced to lift their standards or risk having their coffee-savvy customers going elsewhere.
So the mysteries of how to make the perfect coffee. None of that instant stuff there. Now to a small farm in the Adelaide Hills where Bev Langley and her group of volunteers care for injured and sick animals.
Hiya, little buddy. Good girl. I can't be happy without animals. It's just a part of me. I just get a lot out of it and they give so much back as well. I suppose I'm as mad as a cut snake because I talk to the whole lot of them. So I come, hello darling, how are you today? And but they do respond to that and they understand you're not loopy. And now all the volunteers are talking to them all too.
What you got there?
It's breakfast time at Minton Farm at Cherry Gardens in the Adelaide Hills. And in a makeshift kitchen, hundreds of kilos of fruit and veg that have passed their human use-by dates are being diced up to be dished up to the animals.
Betons. And this is a guinea pig and a rabbit, and that's another rabbit.
The volunteer kitchen hands mostly live locally, and most have been coming for years. But Leah Reynolds is a relative newcomer.
What did you think when you first turned up here?
Well, I didn't expect to see so many different varieties. It's just, a real eye-opener to see how many animals there are.
It all began when Bev Langley tried her hand at helping sick and injured wildlife as a way of helping her own recovery from a paralysing brush with death.
I went swimming in a public pool and got water into the ear, to the spinal cord, and I got brainstem encephalitis and meningitis, which wiped me out for about 3 years with some pretty severe debilitating effects. So as a part of a therapy of getting back into the real world, I joined the Native Animal Network. And then I joined Bird Care Society and they taught me how to mend the broken wings and feed the tiny birds. And,
so you were a sick animal yourself?
I was. I needed rescuing desperately.
Now she's as fit as a Mallee bull herself and devotes her life to helping her feathered, furred and scaly friends onto their road to recovery.
Hi Bev, I've got something here for you.
G'day, how you going?
Good, thank you.
What's cooking?
Unfortunately this morning...
The animal hospital's handled all sorts of accidents and emergencies over the years. Damaged ducklings, parentless parrots, mangled magpies and even tortured tortoises.
This poor little kid was picked up off the road a year ago and the people took him home as a pet for their children to play with and didn't feed him for over a year, or for the year. So all the feet have worn through. So we're having to medicate his little feet with special ointment.
Minton Farm has a vast variety of permanent and temporary residents. Those that can't be rehabilitated aren't euthanased. They're simply given a new home on site or they're adopted by a volunteer.
It's gradually been expanding and Bev has been calling out for help and everyone has responded very generously.
Rob Cornish is one of about 20 regulars who help out.
I only come Thursdays. There are others that come Tuesdays and Thursdays.
What will happen if she wasn't around?
The whole place would degenerate. She is the motivating force and keeps us together.
Apart from motivating her volunteers, she's also teaching them the skills that they'll need to replace her one day.
I've learned how to look after a possum. The first attempt wasn't very good, but I've now got a little ringtail possum.
Some animals are victims of cruelty, some are victims of accidents, and then there's Tassie, the tailless red kangaroo who was born this way. Although the farm's philosophy is to rehabilitate and release native animals, there are plenty of other creatures who've found shelter here. Everything from an unwanted alpaca to a goose hit by a golf ball at the local course. After a short stint at the rescue centre, the goose is